Hi, my name is John Skasonso. I'm on Christmas break, so I left my usual place uh, um, in Iowa. I'm here in the Commonwealth of Virginia and in Northern Virginia in particular, near the Washington, D.C. I'm on Christmas break. So this Friday show is going to be broadcasted from here. And basically, it's just an open conversation. So everyone wants to come and appear. I put up a link out there so you can join me if you like. And I want you to invite your friends to see it. And I want you to come and join me to discuss an important topic. Basically, we're just throwing out thoughts on the president's press conference and also how his detractors have reacted to it. So we have some things to say about that. Yeah. So yeah. So I want you to just come around and chat with me. Then, whilst you're doing that, I am going to play Nemunenika for Wango to wait for you to invite more people so we can have a more substantive discussion and to wait for my friends to get to realize that we are live. Yeah, so we are committed here on Bonano TV to give a constructive perspective on what we think is more reasonable and fair to the country based on the topics that are going on. And then we have our Saturday show, one-on-one with Dr. Kasonso, where we specifically focus just on the money aspects of the country, the business, and particularly small businesses. We want to see the evolution and the rise of small businesses because that is the all wise people who know anything about numbers know that that is the way to go for the economy to find resilience and resuscitation to move forward out of the doldrums of the last 10 years, where we just pumped money into constructions, and those constructions have not generated the money to circulate around to help people. So we're going to talk about that. So yeah, so just share this discussion and enjoy Nemunenika for Wangu. And I will be back shortly with the topics to talk.
El sonido primitivo de África nos da el primer lugar en el mundo. Cultural nuestras raíces.
Hi, welcome back. Yeah, yeah. So I'll give my thoughts here in the preamble, and whoever wants to join me, I've put up a link there on BonanoTV's homepage. You can just click on there, and I'll welcome you in the studio. Um, First, my preliminary thoughts on the president's press conference. Um, from my perspective, I didn't find anything super extraordinary to warrant a detailed analysis. Why? Because most of the things that the president spoke about was just a kind of repeating and kind of like uh, following up on what they have been working over the last year and a half. And I also wanted to thank the president, Hakainde Hichilema of the Republic of Zambia, for just the courage and the confidence to constantly appear before his people and the media publicly and to explain some of the issues pertaining to how they are governing the country. Yeah, but and with that in mind, I felt that the press conference was executed properly and made the necessary standards for informing the nation about the different aspects that were creating either news or a sense of anticipation. And my takeaway, my basic takeaway, is that the president and his people who are leading the country, they have a fundamental belief. And their fundamental belief is that they we first must fix the numbers of the economy. We first must create a functional economy. Um, then we can talk about opportunities, and then we can fix the mismatches in terms of the distribution of resources in the country. And I think they're right for two reasons. Number one, the distribution of economic benefits to the citizens cannot be done in a broken economy. In other words, nalanda muchibemba apa kufire kwaba kwakabwaliako twanaya so that tuite abantu bese balieko nga takuli kabwali then there is nothing to share, so I think they're fundamentally right. And the second reason why I think that's a good approach is because of where we're coming from as a country. This government was handed a broken economy. Growth economically was in the negative. That's the GDP growth was in the negative. And also there was huge amounts of debt. And I don't hear many people talk a lot about this because I think some people think that if you build a hospital, if you build a road, then you've brought development to the country. Yeah, but that is not the case. Economic development is about improving the welfare of citizens. Economic development is about improving the welfare of citizens. So when we talk about the welfare of citizens, are they able to eat? Are they able to have housing? Are they able to take their kids to school? Are they able to get a job? If they are in a job, are they able to promote? So you have to create a sound economy for those fundamentals to work. This government inherited an economy that was dysfunctional. Why? Because first of all, there was a one-sided approach, which was almost thoughtless, to just take all the money of the country that they could borrow and bury it in the grounds, in the hills, and in the constructions, in the projects. Now, the new government comes around. There is no longer money in the circulation in the economy. And some people who don't pay much attention have to think that the new government is hiding the money or eating the money. But that is preposterous yeah, because there is no money there to do that. the many borrowings that were buried in the ground and in the constructions, some complete and some incomplete, is really the elephant in the lion here. Because everywhere where the country needed to go and borrow or get resources to inject in the economy, those opportunities are not there because the money was put into structures and things that themselves cannot generate money from the global economy. So that is the basic thing that is going on with the struggles of Zambia today. Now, how do we fix that? The first place to fix that is to normalize the functionality of the economy. The productive sector is to bring back the ability of households to be able to maneuver and work in the economy. And unfortunately for our president and his group, they are not miracle workers. Our people like miracle workers a lot. President and his group are not miracle workers. So they have not been able to fix everything in 1 year. Yeah, yeah. So that's what I do think about that. The second issue I wanted to comment on is the issue that has created a firestorm. But it's a little bit of a firestorm. But I don't consider it a realistic firestorm. Why? Because first of all, it's coming from social media noise and not from people with real power and a stake in our representative democracy. It's groups or individuals who don't have any representation in parliament, who are making noise, any representation in the scope of our government, who are making noise. And I collected a list of the noisiest people about this press conference. And in the top three, actually, of the five in the top three, every one of them is facing some form of a criminal charge or a case. So they use the opportunity of what the president to come and try and come and create the noise to disguise their cases in court. That is my view, my considered view. I could be wrong, but that's what I think it is. And the line that they kept repeating was that the president is a liar. Now, I couldn't disagree more, because if there is one thing that this president has brought to our country, is dignity. The way he talks with dignity. The way he walks with dignity. The ideas he represents to the people, whether at home or abroad, are a person who is worth of our admiration and worth of our respect. So for these disgruntled citizens to jump around and start calling the president a liar, I was very disappointed in one sense, because that noise they are creating, some people are catching it. And I think that at this particular point, what we need as a country, to the extent that we consider constructive what the government is doing, is to mobilize the country to be able to make changes, to develop our country, and to help in the process of reconstructing the broken fortunes of the country. Unfortunately, the concept that development is brought by a government to the people is very, very wrong. It is the people who are empowered to develop their country. So what we must be about is to tell our people and to inform our people of the opportunities that are available in the economy, so that they can move steadfastly and they can make a difference in their own lives. And those individual efforts, family efforts, street efforts, compound efforts, city efforts, and provincial efforts, that is what in aggregate creates a buoyant economy. So the economy is developed by the people really working harder. Yeah, so that's what we need to be focused on. Yeah, but we have these disgruntled people with criminal charges pending in the courts of law, and every time they show up on the media, they are trying to disrespect, and they are trying to create cacophony and pandemonium where there's nothing there. There's nothing there. There's one character who calls the president his brother, and every time he opens his mouth, he speaks the most unbrotherly things. So I'm like, what kind of mockery is this? And they're kind of sometimes when you listen to their analysis, it's like headless chickens speaking. One of them goes to even criticize how the president was dressed and how they arranged the tables at the press conference. Come on, guys, we never had used to have press conferences in Shimfuka ya Zambia Leteka. All they were doing were cutting deals, and once they cut those deals, is to drain all the resources out of the nation. That's what we used to have. And Mr. Lungu never at once even came to, he never used to take opportunities to come and answer questions from the citizens. Yeah. So, and on a humorous point, I was chatting with my young brother about the question on the Barose royal establishment wanting to have their own country within Zambia. Of course, that is an issue that has been around. I thought that the president definitely answered that question to keep all negotiations or conversations between the government and the establishment. I know that I can't change their mind. They are my father's tribal cousins, so I am exempt from any recriminations. I can say whatever I want about them. But what made me laugh was that they are a very big part of the coalition that brought in this new government. And then Palace Vice said, Tula to have an to pay come protest to a chalo. Iyo vanetekanye twakanye poverty. The Zambia vaisha mushepu tufe twava united. Imova Barose royal establishment. Tufe twava united to reconstruct each other. Not perhaps pari poverty. Number two ambe kwa kanya kone mishuku misha sandi sheshi kale sheka. Hello, Ibuna Dimisha, Mwebazima, Mwachinja, when you want to lower Barros establishment, Mwefane, Mishishawa, that Northwestern province, Tamakashimoni to Kami Pama. So, anyway, that was just my my sarcasm on that issue. Now, the other issue that actually made me laugh, I keep coming here and complain about it. When I complain about that, it's real. The president said that in the last 1 year, they have been able to negotiate for foreign direct investments that is in the region of $5 billion. Everyone said PF namashirukumo via social media president Alivepa. No man, president Alivepa. So I went and reviewed their talking points. One of them used stuff from the Ministry of Finance, if you watch to publish the current account in the Mutumba ya Zambia. And he used that to argue that 5 billion member bank account Tamuri. So since Tamuri, Nishkateka Alevepa. Now, I must tell you that's disingenuous. In fact, no wonder some cases are pending against some people somewhere because they are crooked people. First of all, foreign direct investments, we don't measure it in terms of cash in the bank at the Bank of Zambia in the current account. There is no school which teaches that. And on this one, Nalala Nanga Professor Wavantu. From A to Z, so on Shasumini na Zambia muntu onse ababepe. Pilato ngaisa kweva lelo ninji ingine tutabu permanent secretary nakula fola apenda nechipendo. Ushei wewe wakwata mano kuti waya kubanka account yakwe after 1 week nokuyalanda tamulinda ama mbank account yako. So Pilato aleve pati akola anambo kubomba kula fola nokufola. That is not how life works. So how could you use that method of going to check what is happening at the Bank of Zambia in terms of the current account, the cash account for the country, and use it to say the president was lying? No. People should be fair to this president. And I think alete ya A level apo valetela ni vakankoni ni pada panshi vakamalasha pangalila vakamalasha epo valetela po vatela gem. Foreign direct investment comes first of all in contracts, agreements, and pledges. And when those begin to roll out in the economy, it's over a period of time, but you have to secure them first. In my field, accounting, there is a concept that we call cash basis accounting. Cash basis accounting is you use a cash basis whenever you buy or pay something, or whenever money comes in or money goes out. That's the money you recognize. The type of businesses that are allowed to use that type of measure, tuntemba. Nomba Zambia kantemba kakowati mulebo mfya cash basis accounting. Kwaliba accounting yotubomfya, it's called accruals accounting. It means kuti mwashitishe FPRL kuba nenu. Okay? Mwashitishe FPRL kuba nenu. Nabo nenu bapokera FFP. But mpere ndalama. Ndalama shikesa limbi. Mukabalembere nkalato bane mwalande patheti mukalete lipira nikubambo kulipira. If a business iba tubomfya accruals accounting, tubomfya cash basis accounting. So mwebale bomfya cash basis accounting which is measure a foreign direct investment. Wekele ni mokusukuru ba mambala, wekele mokusukuru mwirasa mukuta circulate ubututu pa social media. Wekele ni mokusukuru. You know, so once you sign a contract in business, you are automatically given, you can recognize revenue. You can recognize, you can anticipate and recognize using accounting of either here in the United States, we use generally accepted accounting principles, but all over the world, including Zambia, they use international financial reporting standards, which are not very different. There are slight differences here and there, but they are not very different. The concepts and the principles about revenue recognition, however, are the same. So foreign direct investment, first of all, what is investment? Investment is recognized using stocks, Stocks may be the amount of monies that are pledged to invest in the stocks of a particular company. So even when you are trying to measure just the amount of money that is coming in, you don't go to the cash account of the country. That is like a fruit basket. What you go to is the Securities and Exchange Commission. You go to how many investments are coming in and what amount of stocks is going to be invested and for what period of time. That's where you get the amount of foreign direct investment. Foreign direct investment is quantified in stocks. It's not accrued cash amount in the current account at the Bank of Zambia, you know. But I could understand the limitations. Most of these commentators, icho tabako etefie ni technical know-how. So mnamkateka isale balombo kwa batiyo talale nife tubombe mwalafi mwana kontanji baleba telefone kulanda tulelanda nombanga mwalanda prefu mabifia buwele wele pakanono bufontini fish twala mfako hello niko atako na thought yako bati kaleka alo akotabala akafunyapo akakuchita defame president ngasa mukita inform ichalo pa national matters. That is a solemn activity. If people balei sapatu tunsh kusa mkwita katekati wabufi, I think wa law enforcement bafire baima no kuya basenda baria bamambala na theorems ya na assumptions ya waeka to prove court, because they are merging the environment and the atmosphere in which we can pull the nation together out of these difficult times that we are by just making noise about nothing. You know, ngabalelanda balina dignified naba bikari minute paper na pamatuma table ngabaisa ololoka pali ka camera kakaisa kwa social media kwena kumwe simwelesa nachishopa abantu nabo kwatobutu ulofa ule pirikitano kutuka ubuteko bulebomba ubuteko bulesha fweba belenge number where they have started is where we needed to start. Renegotiate the repayments for those in Congolese. That's number one. and begin to create and increase productive capacity. In the recent past, I have heard also the president and his people basking insults over changing the method and the modalities of ZCCM-IH appropriating benefits from the other mines where they are shareholders. You know, I heard one philosopher say that insanity is doing the same thing over and over and hoping for a different outcome. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and hoping for a different outcome. In my view, what I have seen is that when it comes to these foreign investors in the mines, what we have been doing is the same, and sometimes even playing very dangerous tricks. We use VAT to get money from them, and in the end, we end up owing them. When it comes to them paying taxes, they pay taxes minus what we owe them. And we are not even able to see properly the actual benefits that we get out of there. So I think that the strategy that this new government has should be given a chance to work. And we must pay attention to the flow of the numbers. They have removed hope and confidence from increasing the percentage of taxes to demanding that the production capacity be increased so that they can get top-end money from royalties. And then the tax regime can stay the same or even go lower. I'm an accountant. I'm a CPA. I know something about taxes. You cannot bank on developing your country from taxes. Government has to have different streams of revenue and create different ways of getting money from those who are productively operating in the economy. So the complaint that no, they lowered the taxes for the big companies and stuff like that. Oh, if tax, no some tax state calculate. So taxes, no some tax tax and these companies employ the best accountants. You can raise your tax rate to even 100%. It will not be enough to develop your country. Why? Because muri tax law, mwariba ama credits, mwariba ama deductions, mwariba ama different things. So you cannot rely on the tax structure to extract the most money out of your investors. So I believe that what this government is doing is really smart. It's really, really smart. Really, really smart. So ZCCM, instead of pocket dividends, which is money after net income, ZCCM now, akula kwati vuteko, akula poka ama royalties, akula rindalama pamuntu kuli revenue, so that that money is consistently going to ZCCM. If you bank on dividends, what it means is that you have to wait for the dividends to be declared. You have to wait for the dividends to be declared. And when the dividends are not declared, you don't get anything. Now, who declares a dividend? It's the board of directors. Who appoints the board of directors? The shareholders. ZCCM-IH is a minority shareholder. So instead of ZCCM-IH sitting there, waiting for Kubasuni na Kwaka anon, ubuteko bwachinja wewe ZCCM-IH alava kwati buteko akulapo kama royalties bapende bapanga revenue tula tuwabane bwana. So I think that policy should be allowed to work, and let's see the results of that policy. The concept itself is valid and is very very useful. It was very useful to improve the revenue streams for the country. Yeah. So nalanda pari FDI tatuvomfya cash basis, tuvomfya accruals basis, tatuvomfya ma balances ya Bank of Zambia, tuvomfya the amount of stocks in invested companies or prospective investments in companies. Tatupende ndalama pari apene pala twakwata fika cash mutumba angule bomba taula fala kupenda tsari kapona. So ngamwapanga ma contracts mwasaina. And this is something they are calling, no, they are cutting backroom deals. You have to do deals, and most of those have to be confidential. tefyako bati babuteko balepanga policies bayisa nkuita bati lucha tayari ati yo iseni kuno bati lucha tayari tumiyewe kwa file chitawuteko no bati lucha tayari na vwa campaign afye chalonga chirefa kwa bamusango ulya na bene bawina kwa ma elections zero bayingilamo so lekene bawina ma elections bateke lekene bawina ma elections bateke ifintu na fishupo kuchaloko te kuchalo fyoko kweka fishupye kambia kale shinja foko maila poka ma pali fertilizer ngana umfoko mashiuya bakwete ma cases ku court ndemona kwati ichalo chalawa umlando wa mfundo but babuteko tompera kufenko shoko but koseni poku bomba. I had a thought to share about that. Kwali vechalo chimwe chikalamba echa chirike fisofyalo fyonse pano zambere chalo kutsa produce uranium eche bapangira ma weapons ya fia ma ya bombing amashani aingi sana nakutaba kwetendala meshingi chalo na fertilize chipanga. So maybe we can also attribute some of the disruptions in the supply chain to the sanctions and to the geopolitical issues. You know, when we discuss the last issue, probably I should talk about when we discuss national matters, we should also try to think about the geopolitical factors. Zambia does not exist in a vacuum. Zambia doesn't exist in a vacuum. Zambia is part of the community of nations. Zambia is part of the community of nations. What it means is that some things that happen in other countries will affect Zambia. Yeah, will affect Zambia. And when those things are out of the control of the government, we should be honest enough to say, for example, that's what oil. We have to depend on the geopolitical factors affecting the supply chain of oil across the country, energy. You know, oil nina every month is because, first of all, before this government came in, kurioko mwaleshta oil, mwali kongwele kumwalishile kwen kongole. Nomba tamukwete ndalama shawatu mtu wadi jokula kongole, mwala chitashani, tamukwete hapa kumukuboko. Bazambia, akatila kambushi, kasengula hapo kekele. Akatila kambushi Bazambia, kasengula hapo kekele. And now I want to talk directly to my countrymen. Akatila kambushi, kasengula hapo kekele. There is something that everyone can do where we are. With whatever little or the provisions of the government, we can be able to do something about that. We can be able to make some changes in our country. And let us learn to give credit where it is due. You know, let us learn to give credit where it is due. And also not just give credit, but let us raise this movement of people who are able to support a good effort in terms of public policies that can enhance the welfare of the country. I think that's the general impression I have about the direction where the president and his people are trying to take the country. And those are the thoughts I have about their detractors. I have zero honor and zero respect for the detractors' opinions because they're not grounded in constructive theory or in reasonable in reasonable theorems. You know, there is no mathematics to what they are trying to say. It's just generalizations and sometimes just sheer tribalism. Why is it that the people who are insulting the president come from the same quadrant? Maybe the noise we are hearing is just tribalism. It's this whole thing of having another group, another part of the country in charge of the deck. And we can't be that. So, Mr. President and your people here from Bonano TV, we wish you well. If we see something funky, we will come here. We will talk. I will speak by myself or my friends who will troop in and we'll talk about it. But we want to encourage you. Eyes on the ball, eyes on the goal. This country can come out of the economic doldrums and the struggles that it has been through in the last 10 years. We had people who never understood money, who would never use a calculator. They borrow and drown the nation in such humongous debt that we've never had since the founding of the republic. And they took all that money and just buried it in the sand. And then they dance around and call it economic development. And now they want money to flow in the economy. Where is it going to come from? What we need to do when we get other people's money is to invest in the productive sector where we produce products that we can sell on the global economy to gain more money. That is how it's the more finances we have in the country, the more we have resources we have in the country, the more we are able to meet the different needs. The giant steps that have been taken to offer free education to young people, and then the opportunities to be able to even create more, grow the civil service a little bit. The civil service needs to grow. The country right now has 20 million people, and we need to expand the civil service. But what we need to really grow is the pie. The pie, I'm referring to the economy. And once the economy is a little bit bigger and broader, then we can be able to create more jobs and more opportunities for our people. And that economic development is only going to come from the hard work of all citizens in the country. And unless that is done, we can come and yell, we can come and insult the president, we can hate on his tribe, we can even use tribalism against him and refuse to respect him and continue to disrespect him. But even then, the country will not go anywhere. But I'm thankful to the president for bringing dignity to the conversation in the country, dignity to the finances of the country on the global stage. And this path we are on, where you hold the plow, and let's head in a positive direction. Thank you from me, John Skasons on Bonano TV. And we'll return tomorrow to address different topics. I'll address different topics. My friends weren't able to join me today, and I'm good to just be here. And God bless the Republic of Zambia. Thank you all for watching me.